that is wrong, we stop everything.
Okay, and out of the contractors that you have on there, I was noticing that there was only one of them that was on the, only one of them, which is Rudy Martinez, is the only one that is on your vendor list.
Yeah.
And so that to me is a little unsettling because you don't have prior work done with the other three contractors per se in this particular area. They might be working with the city in another shape or form, right? But my concern is that we're not pre-qualifying them to safeguard the city.
Well, in this case, since it, like I mentioned, since it is demolition, it's not as bad as doing construction, where in construction we really need to qualify them. In demolition, they're going to be demolishing homes as long as they comply with insurance, and they also follow the Davis-Bacon wage rates. Because if you notice on the tab sheet, you will find two different pricing. If you can put the tab sheet on the screen so I can explain that. There's different pricing because when we get federal funds to pay for some of these demolition services, there's different pricing that we're going to be using. When we pay out of the general fund, we just require for contractors to pay the minimum wage of $8.50 an hour. That was as per a resolution back in 2008. Now we use CDBG funding, and the requirement is to follow Davis-Bacon wage rates. We need to submit those 10 days prior to giving the notice to proceed. Therefore, they need to follow those rates. Not necessarily they have to be the $8.50, but
I'm not arguing, and my question doesn't go to the rates or what they're charging. My question is qualifying your vendors. That's my question. Are we doing this with these vendors? And if we're not doing that, why are we bypassing that step?
Okay.
They're qualified based on their established business. They have a business address. They have permits for their business to operate, whether it's in the city of Brownsville or another city. And then they must be able to produce a bond, insurance, if they're going to do any type of work for the city of this nature or any other nature. Once that's done, then they're qualified to do this work. A lot of the advantages we have is they've done this work for us in the past.
Well, that's okay. I'm saying that the reason I'm concerned is because I feel we're bypassing your pre-qualification on some of these vendors. And my question is, if you are doing that, where are we getting the authority to do that?
Well, some of these contractors.
Let me. I don't mean to put a stop to this, but I think that we need to get to the vote as to whether you're going to go forward with these particular contractors if you don't feel comfortable enough. And again, I think what I'm seeing here, with all due respect to everybody in this room, is that there are some procedures that really need to be implemented, Robert. I mean, to be honest with you, we have some challenges and some room to be able to do things in a different way. And I think we all should stay open to that and try to get, and maybe have, so the commissioners, some of you guys that have some questions, is address those issues, and let's figure out how we get a uniform way of doing business, which gives everybody an equal shot, that are qualified, and that we know that the city is well taken care of.
There was, because of the comment, it's clear that it's a singling out of a contractor, but we need to look at the list. We need to look, when Robert's department goes out for qualifications, he's got to answer to our city manager that answers to us. And there has to be some sort of a fine line in our interference in the process. Of course, you clearly know that when any contractor on this list is bonded, that's what's protecting the city.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Commissioner. What I'm saying to you is that it's the process, I think, that these commissioners are concerned with. And I'm not worried about singling out someone. That's something that's beyond the scope. What I'm saying to you is that there ought to be uniform procedures and processes that, yes, we can tell Mr. Cavler, this is what we think is a good practice, the best practice. I mean, you go to the TML seminars, they're always asking you for the best practice. So I mean, it's a real easy thing. But I think right now we're going to decide. Do I have a motion?
Real quick, the fact that I was given this list and this is what I was making my decision on, and like Commissioner Zamora pointed out that there were several that were disconnected, that makes me feel deceived. I just want to state that for the record. I feel
All right,
deceived.
now, is there a motion on this item? That's all.
I'm sorry, I just,
Huh?
I move the table until we get the
Okay.
references in the
Do
documents.
I hear a second on that table?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of table it?
Aye.
Aye.
can I just state for the record that politics is politics. The job that this director does, and his staff does, and our staff does, should not reflect these contracts and what the business that we need to get done in the city.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Thank you. Remember, for right now, it's tabled, and
Okay,
let's visit.
I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, we'll be happy to visit. This thing, everything can work. Okay?
Okay.
Next item.